Meeting is now in order. Would everybody please join Councilor Dobbins as he blesses us?
Father, thank you for this day. It's a privilege to be here, a privilege to awaken to a new day. Thank you for the sunshine. Thank you for just the ability for us to physically be here, but the ability to mentally be here and decide to make decisions that are to the benefit of our people. Thank you for this blessed time together. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilor. Shelley, would you do roll call?
Yes, sir. Keith Austin.
Here.
Wes Snowfire. Harley Buzzard. Joe Bird. Juliet Coates. Sean Crittenden. Joe Deere. Mike Dobbins. Kanan Duncan. Rex Jordan. Daryl Legg. Dora Petzkowski. Mike Shambaugh. Mary Bakershaw. E.O. Smith. Janice Taylor. Victoria Vesquez. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I ask, I see on the screen, we have call-in user, and who's the call-in user?
One of them's Royal and one of them's Julia.
Okay, thank you.
This is Julia.
Okay, I couldn't see your face, the call-in, your face and their voice apparently are not connected there. And R.O., who is that?
That's Royal.
Thank you. All right, perfect. I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes. We got that. Who all would agree to that? Say aye. Aye. Thank you. All right, great. We have reports. We'll get started with Miss Diane Kelly if she's with us. Is Diane Kelly with us today? I don't see Diane. Do we know?
It appears that we're having some technical difficulties again with a few of our users.
Okay.
They're going to be joining us as they can. If you don't mind, we could defer, and I'll try to get her connected.
We will circle back to Diane. Corey Bunch, are you here today? Okay. We're having the same issue, is that correct? I don't see Verna Thompson either, do I?
No.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a lot of time for our special agenda item here today. Councilor Taylor, would you introduce that, please?
I'm sorry, I'm on the iPad. It makes it a little more difficult.
Okay.
It is an update on the RSU concurrent opportunities. Aren't you glad you asked me?
Well, I
Here, look. Counselor Austin, would you like me to introduce it?
yeah, I would love that, Councilor Taylor.
Presentation on the online concurrent opportunities offered by Rogers State University and sponsored by the Cherokee Nation. And we have Royal Ells and Clary Stewart.
I actually offered you that opportunity because I thought you would be more familiar with it than anybody else.
Well,
But
I am, but I did. Carry on.
Royal, are you ready? Royal Ells, you'll notice there's an envelope on your desk, and it's a recap of what Royal will be telling us about today. Royal Ells, who is the director of RSU Television, and has worked very diligently with the Cherokee Nation on our Cherokee One program and on the concurrent enrollment program with the Cherokee Nation. Royal Ells, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm trusting everyone can hear me. I'm going to try and share my screen if I can get to a PowerPoint. And so, can you all see that PowerPoint? Okay. So what I will do now is I want to go to the next slide, and I want to thank the Tribal Nation, the Tribal Council, Keith and Janice and everyone for this opportunity to bring you up to speed on where we are with the tribal language opportunity of Cherokee 1 and what will soon be Cherokee 2. Let me play you a little video here, and I hope you can hear it.
We can't hear it yet.
Okay. Let me. Keith, if you can hear that, give me a wave.
Nope.
Well, let me. Technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on and just let you know that it was a really good video. And I wish you could have enjoyed it. But it shows Wade doing what Wade does, and he brings on some speakers. And so he's really integrating the language, making it very acceptable for all the folks who've enrolled and are participating in the class. So,
Back in the day, there would have been a screen up there that says, please stand by for technical difficulties, right, Royal? I am so powerless right now.
You know, Mr. Chairman, we have these committee meetings once a month. And I don't see any of these people here to report. Can't they have at least send an alternative person to here? I do see Mr. Corey Bunch here. That's all we ever ask as council members, just send somebody, or if you can't be here, then send an alternate here. That's all we want.
You know,
Thank
we've been doing everything virtual as much as possible, and we do have Natalie Cloud representing Sequoia Schools on the screen. Obviously, Royal was on the screen, but we've lost him.
We got Mr. Corey Bunch, though.
So now we have Corey.
Yeah,
We're
he's
just going to
good.
regroup and circle back to Corey. When Royal gets back, we will save him to the last.
I thought he was through.
Mr. Corey Bunch. Yes, sir. Would you like to give us an executive director's report?
About the technology, I was logged on and I saw several people, but I could not see you guys, so we just made our way down. So, hope everyone's doing well today. I just have a few things I'd like to highlight and remind you. And as Councilor Austin said, Miss Natalie Cloud may be logged on to represent Sequoia, and also Verna was logged on earlier for Head Start. So the first thing I'd like to do is just go on the record, just welcome our employees back this morning, the ones who were off. We've got a lot of new faces in Education Service Hallway today. Feels great. One of the employees mentioned it feels like the first day of school. So it's kind of a neat feeling to see everyone's faces again. And we're looking forward to bringing more of our services back online in person soon, hopefully. The second thing I'd like to mention is the Public School Appreciation Day. I think I may have mentioned it last month, but that is going to be a virtual event And the tentative date now is April the 7th at 9:30 in the morning. So again, that's the Public School Appreciation Day with the car tag money, and that's going to be April the 7th at 9:30 in the morning. Very much looking forward to that event, and we'll be sending out the, I think the notices may be already sent out or should be sent out soon to each of you with that log-on information and to our public school administrators. The valedictorian salutatorian scholarship, that is still open. The deadline is March the 31st, and that can be found online. Let's see, again, I just want to keep reminding you about the scholarship application is also now open, and that runs all the way until June the 15th. One of the difficulties that students have with that is filling out the FAFSA and some of those types of things. So if they need us, please have them contact us. They can actually come into the office, or we can work with them online somehow to help them fill out their forms. Let's see, I kind of got my things numbered here. On a public schools front, I'd just like to say, when you guys are out there, if you don't mind just passing along how much we appreciate the work that they've done this year. We know it's been extremely difficult. They're 3/4 of the year finished, and I believe Counselor Crittenden, he knows firsthand, and Counselor Duncan, and they're within the school systems. They know what a tough year it's been, and I'd just like to say great job to all the public school administrators, teachers, and the staff for the work that they've done on behalf of our Cherokee kids this school year. One thing I would like to bring up before Ms. Cloud gets on at Sequoia Schools is we are getting back into our activities. I know that's been a topic of discussion all throughout the year, but we've recently gotten back to our spring activities, so we'll be doing track and golf and some other activities as they come along. So we just wanted to kind of dispel any talk that you may have heard out there about Sequoia not doing those things. We're excited to be doing those things. We spent a lot of money on updating the equipment in our field house. We're going to be updating several other things as we come along this summer with additional CARES Act money. So stay tuned to what happens at Sequoia Schools. So with that, I believe that's all I have as highlights. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions? Counselor No Fire.
Mr. Bunch, what, now, this may not be a question you might be able to ask or answer, but I figured I'd start with you. Throughout the past year, there was a lot of stress, not just for our kids at Sequoia and the immersion, but a lot of other schools had to open and shut down, and it put a lot of kids through a lot of post-traumatic stress syndrome, and in fact, they did a report on it, and it was pretty alarming at some of the reports of what these kids had to go through, how it affected their life. I think we're all out of school. We don't realize how much it had effect on them, but it did. And one of them in particular had so much stress, they actually thought she had a disease because her hair just started falling out. And she was, I think she's 8 or 9 years old. So the family had to enroll her at home for homeschool, and it put a lot of burden on the family and financial strain in order to try to keep them in school. Is there any way that you can look at grant opportunity for those kids who had to go enroll on online programs, online schooling, to do that? I know that a lot of public schools offered it, but some of them it just wasn't matched up for them. And I know we give public schools, funding from tax dollars. I didn't know if there's any portion of it that we could use directed towards kids who couldn't go to public school because of those life-altering aspects that's come up.
That's a great question, Counselor No Fire. It's something that I've thought about many times over this past school year. And in fact, I've talked to many parents about just that same thing, the stress level. No matter what age of kids we're talking about, it affects kids differently, and we know that, especially those that have been at homeschooled or virtual school. So we'll give that some thought to see if we can identify some funding to moving forward to work with some public schools and parents, or maybe homeschool, to address just that situation. Right now, I can't think of any funding that we have to do it.
Right.
But I would gladly entertain some thoughts and questions from my staff, and some ideas from my staff moving forward to address that.
Okay, perfect. And then, I guess the additional funds that you talked about from CARES Act funds, is that back to what I asked about last month with Sequoia High School, the CRRSA money?
Yes, it's got a different acronym. It's Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriation, but Sequoia Schools will get about $2.3 million for that. And our team has generated many ideas to submit for that grant. So.
Okay, all right, perfect, appreciate it.
Mr. Speaker, do you have a comment?
No, I'm just, that's good news on the funds that the school will be receiving. I was reading where, I think it was Rogers County or Tulsa County on all the schools that were receiving, different amounts of money. So, commend your staff for making sure we had the application in. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Shambaugh?
Hey, Corey. Question about the summer food programs. Do you know much about that?
I am not involved with the summer food program, although I did see the applications made available also on that Cherokee portal, the new Cherokee portal. If citizens want to go on and enroll in the portal, the application is on there for them to complete.
Well, maybe you can answer this question. I was advised that Cherokee homeschool students do not qualify for that. Is that correct?
I would have to confirm that. I don't have any knowledge of that. I'll be glad to try to look it up and get with the appropriate person here at Cherokee Nation.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I see no other hands. Well, thank you for being here. It's good to see
Thank you. Good to see you
you
guys.
today. Next, we will go to Verna Thompson, since she's supposed to be there, but I don't think she is. But can
Okay.
you
Yes.
take any questions we have
Sure
for
would.
her?
I'll be glad to. Verna was on there earlier. Like I said, we had some difficulties, so I'll be glad to answer any questions on Head Start.
Do we have any questions for Head Start today? Seeing none, I guess you're free to go.
Okay.
Ms. Cloud is with us, I believe. She was.
She was.
Yes, I see Diane out there. Ms. Cloud was with us on the screen, though. She's not now, so.
Okay.
It was going to be nice to welcome Ms. Cloud, yes.
Can I ask Mr. Brown a question?
Is it relating to what he already did, or?
No, it's not related. It's about Sequoia though, but no one else is
Okay,
here.
he's getting ready to do Sequoia's report.
Oh,
and
okay,
Then we'll
go
have
ahead.
question time.
Yep. I'll be glad to do for Sequoia. Ms. Cloud was going to be excited to join us. And I'd just like to say what a terrific job that Ms. Cloud and our athletic director and assistant athletic directors have done, our teachers and our staff, cafeteria staff. They've done an amazing job this school year of just meeting the needs of the kids the best they can in the situation that we're in. At Sequoia, as I mentioned, we're starting back with the spring activities immediately. We'll be participating in golf and track and some other springtime activities. Looking forward to what we can do this summer. We're looking forward to the additional funding that we'll be receiving because it'll enhance some of the offerings and technology that we're having there at the campus. We've also recently released our enrollment applications. So if you know of students who are out there who would like to apply to Sequoia schools, please have them contact us or look on our webpage for the application. We will be hosting schools. It won't be the traditional 8th grade day, but we will be hosting schools on Fridays, kind of one at a time, to show them around the campus and answer any questions that those students or their parents or the public school staff may have from the K-8 schools. And so we're looking forward to that. In general, we're just trying to prepare for the ACT test coming up and the end of the year test, and to help our kids to finish as strong as they can academically for this school year.
Thank you, Mr. Bunch. Now, Ms. Shaw.
Corey, I had spoken, I guess it was a year ago, to Mr. Qualls
Okay?
about the annual. It bothered me that, I don't know if you call them dedication pages or appreciation pages, where you go and buy a whole page, or you can buy half, and then put your child's picture and all the little honors and things, little things that they've done. Are you all following me? And I had spoken with him last year about, that bothered me, because I think we want to be the school of inclusion, and I don't like excluding people whose parents don't have the money to go and buy that page.
Sure.
And I was really disappointed to see it in this year's annual.
Okay. I will look into that and see what's going on. I suppose it's to do with fundraising. It's every public school, every high school kind of has this difficulty with how do we pay for the yearbooks? Because they're very expensive to print, and it's kind of difficult to know how many to pre-buy, basically, because you got to submit that work very early on in the school year, and then how many we can sell to kind of recoup some of our money. So I'm sure it's tied to that, but I'll see what we can do to maybe address more inclusion with more parents and students being the primary focus.
Is it possible you need counsel to help you all with the financing on on the annuals?
I don't believe so. I'll have to look to see exactly what those costs are. I know that my ballpark kind of estimate is probably as high as 20,000. I don't know how many we're purchasing, but it can get rather costly at the high school. I'll have to do some more digging to find out exactly.
Thank you very much.
I will. Thank you.
Counselor Deere?
Hey, Corey. I talked to you earlier, but this is something that's interesting that's come up. Have you had any issues with OSSAA with the school of Sequoia and talk about recruiting issues or not being allowed to be in OSAA?
During my tenure this year, I have not had any of those issues with the Oklahoma Secondary Athletic Association. I think moving forward, we may have some issues, but I haven't had an issue right now.
Well, the reason why I ask is there's a similar school in Tulsa that is focusing just on boys, and it's been around 6-7 years, and they brought it up with OSAA because they are recruiting strictly from a district. And those kids are eligible to go to Central or Booker T, but they are choosing to go to this all-male school, which is a great program, but they're trying to get into OSAA, and they're getting a little pushback. And we compared that to other schools. And I was just wondering if OSSA was giving you guys any grief on that.
We haven't, to my knowledge, had any issues with that, not at all, because we really open up our enrollment process to any kids, within our jurisdictional boundary. So it's similar to what a public school would do within their district. However, we're opening it up to not only Cherokee Nation, but I guess beyond that as well.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, because they were talking about recruiting, and when that comes up, that's a different type of deal. So I didn't know if that had crossed your path yet. But
No, sir.
all right, thanks, Chair.
Are there other questions?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yes.
Mr. Bunch, just keep on doing good. We appreciate what you've done for the school, and about recruiting, on the comment that you made, OSSAA. If you really keep tabs on the word recruiting, and you look at schools like Oklahoma Heritage, Christian Heritage, Tulsa, Union, Victory Christian, you'll see different kids there every year. And you say, where'd they come from? They just moved here. But in the rural areas where we're from, most of our public schools, now, if they'll have one transfer in, they'll make a big deal out of it. When you go to Tulsa and you go to Oklahoma City, those kids just move around. It's like they're just there every other month. So they can't say anything about recruiting and then point a finger at us. We've really done a good job in complying with what OSSA has to, in the policies that we have. We go above and beyond. And, I give a lot of credit to Marcus Crittenden. He really does an excellent job. That guy there complies with policy probably like no other athletic director in the state. He's really a good asset for the school there. So, Mr. Bunch, you can tell Mr. Crittenden that we appreciate what he does.
I sure will,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Sure will, Mr. Speaker.
Are there any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Comments? I guess not. Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Chairman.
Diane? I will say it's
There we go. It's a little high for me. I feel like a
Hey,
little kid.
gentlemen, let's give Miss Kelly the attention she deserves. Diane?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Happy St. Patrick's Day month. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. The Job Corps has started bringing students back. We got a call from one of you all, I don't remember who it was, and asked about that. They are starting a gradual ramp up. They've got 28 students on center, and it's a national mandate from the president down to all the federal programs, and Job Corps is a federal program, that all kids coming on center have to have a 2-week, 14-day quarantine. So if you're a student who is coming back to Talking Leaves, you will be quarantined for 14 days. You're not allowed to leave the campus. You will actually have your meals brought to you in your room, and you will have a Chromebook, and you'll be doing your classes from your room, and then you can go out into the commons area there in the dormitory. But they will have to stay in the dorm for 14 days, and this is something that the recruiters have told them before they actually come back. And a lot of them were ready to come back. They wanted those 3 meals a day, and they wanted that camaraderie with some of their friends. We will be taking students March the 23rd. Our health and wellness nurse, Ms. Anderson, has to look at all of the folders to determine whether or not John Q. Public comes back based on any kind of illness or pandemic problem that they've had while they've been off, or if they're under doctor's care before they can actually come back to the center. And all students are checked through the PPE process, procedures, and all of the staff are. And I want to thank Steve Jones, our health director, and Wayne Caldwell for working with me to get all of our staff vaccinated and get them all tested, because that was one of the mandates from the Department of Labor. Our OSBA, which is our onboard strength for the students, is at 197, and that's our capacity, although we've had over 200 students. After they determine all the kids that want to come back, then we've got about 100 and something folders sitting that will be starting to be processed for any newcomers coming into the center. But we are not taking any new students at this point in time. The lineman program is probably a very popular program. We're getting ready to start our 4th class, and we're starting our 2nd class in fiber optic training for the linemen. All of these students who go through these 2 training programs have to have a CDL. They have to have a good driving record and no DUIs. And so we have CDL training going on, fiber training going on, and lineman training going on. And they're doing this out west of town. We've got 2 trailers that we ordered, and they're getting wraps put on them. And right now we're using Indian Capital Technology Center's trailer. And then we hope to have a classroom built out in one of the corners of one of the buildings out west of town, out past the cultural program out there where the nursery was. We have been real busy with fire calls. Reuben Chuck Luck and his fire team have been on call just about every weekend. This is fire season. He told me that they went out on 13 calls last weekend. And he said they're going from Delaware County to Mays County to Cherokee County to Adair County. And he said there's one little community over in Adair County that they get called out all the time, and it's called Bell. But he said they spend more time at Bell than they do in the other counties. But he said that they get dispatched through the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who in turn has a cooperative agreement with the state of Oklahoma. So when they detect a fire out, well, they'll call and the BIA dispatches them. So it's not us self-dispatching. Some of you all have asked about ribbon cuttings for our new office in Pryor and the new office that we moved into in Stillwell. We'll be coordinating that with our Human Services and ICW and administration. I'm not really sure. We're still getting some things taken care of over there, like furniture and things of that sort. Pryor, it has not been turned over to us, although we're in the building. They're still working on it. We hope to do a walkthrough, I believe, in a couple of weeks. When the walkthrough is completed and they've completed all the punch list, then we will start trying to schedule something with Cherokee Nation businesses in Pryor. We are looking at a place in Veneta. We had hoped to go to the Buffington Building in Veneta for expansion of our services up in Veneta for you, Councilwoman Vasquez, but that isn't going to happen. So we have a business that works with us right now. It's a tarot business, and they've got some space, and we're hoping that we can go in there and do some cosmetic to that building on one end and move in it. We'll start working with them sometime in April and maybe be in it by the 1st of June, we hope. Our J office, I sent out emails to 3 of you council members about our J office. The roof collapsed this morning because of the rain in one spot in the building, but we're working to get that resolved, and I just wanted you to be aware we are not closing the office. They can move to another part of the building. Although they thought they were going to have to work from home, and I said, no, you can still work from the office. It's just one spot. So we have a lot of good news to report to you, but I don't have it ready to go. We've still got some things that we have to work out. It could be ready to go the end of this month, but I would say it's more likely it'll be in April. It's some training opportunities where we're going to develop some economic development as a result of some of the training, and I will share that with you later on. And I think that you'll be pleased to hear about it. So, do you have any questions?
I see Counselor Deere was first.
Hey, Diane.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Pastor Tim from Drexel Academy just said to say thank you for the help with the resource advisors that you guys have sent out there. And I visited Crossover Preparatory this last week, and Philip Abode is their owner. He's going to reach out because he went and met with Pastor Tim, and they have a lot of Cherokees attending this school as well. So just, I told them, and I was like, you know, Diane, there's nobody better than Diane at what she does. So, but Pastor Tim said to relay that message to thank you, and he passed it on to Philip, so it's just sort of getting around. So look for that call. I'm sure he'll be buzzing you.
Thank you. You're very kind.
All right.
I will say that, you know, since we've added on these other programs, these other training and jobs programs, we have more staff that are out there canvassing the 14 counties. And I've got staff attending Chamber of Commerce meetings in their locations, plus they're hitting all of the schools, the training schools in the area, and they're meeting with a lot of businesses. So they're networking out there like you wouldn't believe. And if there is a place that we haven't tapped, let us know, and I'll send somebody out.
Okay. Yeah, some of the chambers in my area have not used any mask mandate, so you might tell Hunter and those guys to watch before they go to these chamber meetings.
Okay.
So, FYI.
Oh, they're doing them virtual. Some of them are virtual,
Yeah.
but I've got staff involved in them.
Okay, but yeah, they're doing a great job, so it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Shambaugh, did I see your hand?
No, Diane, hey, thank you for the update on the building. Is it repairable, or just, do we know why it's leaking?
Well, we had some leaks over in the old part of that building, and we were in the process of getting the leaks repaired, but we had all this rain this weekend, and I guess part of the roof caved in. Not bad, but it's repairable, but we just got to get a contractor out there pretty quick to get it worked on.
Well, thanks for the update, and it's really important to keep that tag agency open if we can, because that's a pretty busy place, but, gosh, I hate to hear that. I'm sure there's probably, if that's happening there, there's probably other problems with that building too.
The tag office didn't get it. It's over in that old section.
Right, I know
It's
what you're
over near
talking
the
about, yeah.
restrooms. So, it affects one office, and I told them that they could actually move into the middle part and into that conference room area and use their laptops.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
You know me, I'm a slave driver.
I didn't say that.
Counselor Legg?
Yeah, hey, Diane. I went to a county commissioners meeting with Pafford EMS this past Monday, and apparently there is a paramedic shortage in Oklahoma. They are paying a $5,000 or $7,500 sign-on bonus. We have 5 vacancies in Sequoia County, and I think there's 21 in Tulsa. And I don't know however many else around the other counties, but that was just the 2 that they give. And I'm not asking to put on a training, but if you got anybody in the pipeline that is eligible and they're Cherokee and they want to come to work for Padford, I'll send you the contact info for Padford EMS, and maybe we can get something worked out, but there's jobs available right now.
Yes, we're aware of the shortage. A couple of the training programs where we had some of our students have actually, they quit training because of the pandemic. And so some of those students asked to be transferred to other places where they were still continuing to do the training. So we've transferred some of those out. And that was one of the things that we were talking about, was trying to get that paramedic program back up in operation. I know that a lot of our rural fire departments have been asking about it as well. So we're working on it.
Yes, Mr. Buzzard?
Yes, Diane, the building there in Jay, who owns the building? Is it the Housing Authority or do we own it?
We do not own it. The Housing Authority owns it. We worked out a deal with the Housing Authority back whenever we went out to Hogner Heights, and they had a learning center. We took that over for them, and we offered the GED program there, and we offered it there at Jay. We offered it there at Claremore. So there's 3 buildings that we operate with Housing Authority, and they put that in their housing plan as part of the operations for their plan when they submit it.
I see. Well, I've just noticed, I've watched the progress on the roof for the last 2 months, and I knew with this last rain that it was gonna happen, so who's responsible for repairing the roof?
They have insurance
Oh, I
on
see.
it. They have insurance on it, but we're probably gonna have to pay for some of it,
I see.
which is understandable. On the side where we had the air conditioning, we had to pay for those repairs, which is understandable.
Do we, is that just an in-kind contribution from the Housing Authority for our space costs? or-
Yes, it
Okay.
has been. And
All right.
it also adds to their housing plan when they submit that.
Okay.
So we always
All right.
put
So
that
it's
in there.
covered to the housing
Yes.
plan. Okay, thank you.
I see no more hands, so thank you, Diane. It's really nice to see you with us.
Well, thank you. It's good to see all of you. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Now, I've asked Roy Boney Jr. to join us. He's been very instrumental in helping Royal in put together this program, and as well as Clarice Doyle has, Clarice is not with him, but Clarice is a Cherokee Nation citizen who was formerly on our editorial board a few years back, and she's got a real heart for this program. But she also has a heart for taking her family on vacation at spring break, apparently. Royal, if you're ready, we're going to try this one more time. I don't think that's him. Royal, can you hear us? We're not hearing you. Hey, Royal, we're going to have to do a backup plan here, and Royal, pardon me, Roy Boney Jr. is in the room with us, and we'll figure out a backup plan here. But Royal, let me just give you a brief introduction. RSU TV has a program called for concurrent enrollment. And the paperwork that you see here, it talks about how that process works. But I want Roy to kind of talk about the formation of Cherokee One, so that we know what we're talking about and why it's exciting.
Yeah, okay. Well, as you might remember before, we had the Cherokee 1 class with RSU, and we broadcast that on our RSU TV as well. So the class itself is online, and it's 48 50-minute episodes of Cherokee language content. So what we've done, we partnered with RSU to expand this program. So we're going to have Cherokee 2 that follows a similar format. It'll be broadcast on RSU TV, and it will be an online class at RSU. And so we applied for a grant through the language department, and we received it. So this grant will fund the production of Cherokee 2, and it will provide about 200 scholarships for concurrent enrollment for high school juniors and seniors to take the Cherokee 1 and 2 classes. So the application is actually on the Cherokee Nation website too. If you go to language.cherokee.org, there's a tab for RSU there. And that application is live now, so students can download that and apply for the scholarship. So since this is grant funded, it's a first come, first serve basis, so we'll give out the scholarships till the funding runs out.
And we gave you an information packet about it. The concurrent enrollment doesn't just cover Cherokee 1. I think it's 4 classes, and I don't remember those 4 classes, but there are 4. The other 3 are what you consider essential classes for a college education that you can get while you're still in high school. And all of those fall underneath this scholarship opportunity. And the scholarship is good for anybody, no matter where you live, as long as you're in the Cherokee Nation. So it's not a Rogers County, Tulsa County thing. If you can get a computer signal, you can take this class. If you can get the TV signal of RSU, you can take this class. You can take these classes. And you can get a great jump start on your college education with this. But we also know that you can get a great jump start on learning the Cherokee language with this. And RSU has worked with several of the schools in our area to make sure that the class will be considered a second language in their high school curriculum as well. So if they're taking it concurrently at RSU, it can also count as a class potentially at their school. So we want to encourage the schools to allow that, so that if a student is taking it in that they can also get credit for it as a high school class. I did not come prepared to make a presentation, but this is why we have this, and Royal is just going, I don't know what's going on. But Royal will probably be willing to make a video presentation that he would send out in email format to all of us. Would you do that to help walk everybody through? Perfect. If anybody has any questions for Royal or about this program, share them and we can pass them on. I think it's an exciting program. It is funded to the point to where there really is no student who should not be able to take this class. The capacity is far exceeds the amount of people who are taking it. So if you know of any student who has an interest in concurrent enrollment or the Cherokee language or both, make sure that they contact the contact information is in this packet that I've provided for each of you. How's that, Royal? All right. Roy, anything you want to add?
No, I think that about covers it.
Okay. Well, yes, Mike?
Hey, Roy, would you stick around after this over? I got a 2-minute deal for you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah.
I hadn't read any of that, Keith, but, man, it sounds like a heck of a deal. And if everybody in the, 14 counties can log on and do this concurrent, that affects a lot of people. So whoever had a hand in that, good job.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Councilor Legg?
So if we have concurrent enrollment students at Carl Albert, but they would like to take this as a foreign language or a language course, instead of in lieu of Spanish, could they, since it's not offered at Carl Albert, would they be allowed to do it there at RSU?
Do you see
Okay.
Royal's head shaking
Yes, sir.
up and down?
Thank you.
And that is the intention of it.
Right.
The intention of it is for any anybody taking college, needing college credit regardless of where they are, if they're, this is an accredited university, and if the credits are transferable.
Great.
Last year, we had a student from Dartmouth that was, I'm not sure she enrolled, but I know she was exploring enrolling in this program. So it's workable no matter where you're going. Any other questions? Mike, one more?
Is there a number that could be called? I don't see it on here, but if somebody had some quick questions about it?
There is, and I will make sure everybody has that. Did you get that, Royal? Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
I know there's the, yes, 343-7751, that's 918. Is it on here? Yeah, it's on the FAQ page, second half of it. Okay, yeah, I got it. All right. No more questions? Yes, Mary? Okay, no more questions. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, all in favor say aye. Aye, thank you. Thanks for helping me, Roy.
No problem.